Hey everyone, it's Mr. Molo going through the 9.3 puzzle time. Joke for this one is, what did the chef say to the hungry watch? So we're going to be going over questions 1, 2, 5, 10, and 12. That's a little bit of everything. So if you look at number 1, set up very nicely for us. It's just x squared equals 49. Remember, we're trying to solve for x here. So the opposite of x squared, we would need to take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is just x. And the square root of 49, remember, technically has two answers. So 7 times 7 is 49, and then also negative 7 times negative 7 is also 49. And that matches down with letter O. Number 2 then, so kind of the same thing, except a little bit different there. So if I have x squared equals negative 121, same thing. So I want to take the square root of both. But if we end up taking the square root of negative 121, our calculator tells us it's an error. Can't be done. So no two numbers multiplied that are the same can be negative 21. So that one would be letter W, the no real solutions. Alright, go down to number 5. So here I have x squared plus 8 equals 15. So kind of the same then, except now it doesn't say x squared equals a number. I have to make it say x squared equals a number. So instead of it's plus 8, I'm going to minus 8 from each side. So going back to kind of chapter 1, draw a line down the equal sign. Subtract 8 from each side, so 8 minus 8, it goes away. So I'm left with x squared equals 15 minus 8 is 7. So we don't know what the square root of 7 is, but we do know that it's still possible to do that. So if I take the square root of 7 in my calculator, square root of 7, we end up getting letter E, 2.65. So x equals positive 2.65. Going down to number 10 here. So number 10, we have x minus 2 squared equals 25. So kind of the same thing then. I'm going to make my Punnett square, going back to chapter 7. So x minus 2, and then x minus 2. So that'll give me x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. And then x times x is 4. So once I combine those negative 2x and negative 2x, I'm left with negative 4x plus 4 equals 25. So a little more complicated than number 5. So I have x squared minus 4x plus 4. So I need to get that all on one side. I need to subtract 25 from each side, subtract 25 from each side. So I'm left with x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Now this is where I would think I need two numbers that multiply to a negative 21, but when I add them, give me a negative 4x. So two numbers that multiply to 21 and add them give me a negative 4, or negative 7 and positive 3. So negative 7 times positive 3 is negative 21, and then negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. So we're trying to find the zeros for this. So remember, then we set each of those parentheses equal to 0. So x minus 7, so 7 minus 7 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0, so negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And I kind of ran out of room here, so we'll do number 12 on a separate page. Number 12 is 9, and then x plus 3 squared equals 36. So we kind of have two choices here. So there's a 9 hanging out in front of the parentheses. I could just multiply that out. Or, since I know that 9 does go nicely into 36, I can just divide both sides by 9 right away. And then it kind of just looks like the last problem we did. So we have x plus 3 squared, and then 9 divided by 36 is 4. Okay, so same thing, once I get my x plus 3 and I make my Punnett squared, x plus 3 squared becomes x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 4. Same thing, get that 4 out of there so that it equals 0. 9 minus 4 is 5. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 5 and add to 6. So luckily there's only one way that we can multiply to 5, and it's 5 and 1. And that one happens to work for this. So x plus 5 and x plus 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. And then remember, we're trying to find the zeros. So x plus 5 equals 0. Well, negative 5 plus 5 is to 0. X plus 1 equals 0, negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So that should do it for this one. So what did the chef say to the hungry watch? How about second?